And then with that, just some expectations for the Welsh fans listening or watching. How do Wales get out of this? Is this a long, horrible process?
Well, look, I think there are some really, really good young players, and we're seeing them over the last couple of seasons come through. But it takes time. It takes time, as you know, at Test level. Some players can hit the ground running, but most of them take a bit of time to get comfortable in the environment, in the change room, in the jersey, with some of the great players around them that they've grown up watching on TV. So the Christianses of the world, the Dafford Jenkins of the world, they're young men, and you've got to be very, very careful that you look after their well-being in terms of their bodies in particular. At that, they still haven't fully matured, if you like. And I know with Chris, he's picked up a couple of injuries, in the first week or first couple of weeks of camps, because just the intensity that we train at Test level and the volume is not often as much as you'd have over a working week with some of the clubs, but it's the intensity that we train at, A lot of high-speed meters over a short period of time, and really pushing the players to try to train at that intensity that you might play in a Test match. And if you're not quite ready physically, it can take its toll. So you've got to be careful when you introduce players and, how many Test matches in a row you'd play them or big games. Because it's accumulation of the knocks, not just in the Test matches, but also in the training as well, because a lot of these trainings are very physical these days.
Yeah. Hawkins as well, centre. Mason Grady looks good.
Yeah, look, and Mason we had in the autumn series off the back of Byron Hayward's under-20s group. Both those players stood out in the 20s, and along with Dafford Jenkins and Chris Shinza, who'd already capped Chris. So they're big players for the future. There's no doubt about it. It's hard though when you put in like a Mason Grady on the weekend. I was just thinking when we put Joe in against Australia, we had Gareth Hanscom inside him, George North outside him, and what a good 10 wants is a lot of communication from that 13 or guys outside him, coming in to let him know where the space is while he's getting his timing off 9 and that sort of thing. And so young guys had to come in and play pretty big roles defensively. One of them would have been no doubt defensive leader for the backs. And then the eyes and ears for your 10. So, yeah, it was a big opportunity for those boys. And I'm glad everybody I know that was on the panel that I was on match day was saying, look, don't judge this young fella on one game, no matter what happens in this game, because he's got talent. There's no doubt about it. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's got a good step, and he's got everything to indicate that he's going to have a big career at the top end of the game.
Yeah.
So, just like a Louis Rees-Zammit came on the scene, you've got to give them time to develop and get their confidence at that level, even if they're pretty confident people anyway. They've got to get used to the intensity, they've got to get used to the training, they've got to get the repeatability into them, especially back three like a Louis Rees-Zammit. It took him a bit of time, but look how he's come on in the game with a bit of time. So, yeah, there are some good young players. It is going to take time, but I still believe that 8-week build-up for the World Cup, they can achieve a lot in that period of time.